Find a photograph of yourself from 10 years ago. Go ahead. I'll wait. Look at the person in that picture. The way they hold their head, the clothes they're wearing, the look in their eyes. They have your name. They have your face. They are standing at a point in time that you distinctly remember living through. And they are completely unequivocally dead. Not metaphorically. Not poetically. I mean, biologically, neurologically, and psychologically, the person in that photograph no longer exists. You are not the same person. You are someone else entirely, living in a body that has been systematically disassembled and rebuilt, running on a mind that has been rewritten so many times the original draft is gone forever. And the most unsettling part isn't that this happened. It's that you never even felt it. Let's start with the easy part. Your body, you think of it as a solid, continuous thing. But it's more like a river, a shape that stays the same while the water that makes it up is constantly changing. Your skin cells are replaced every 2 to 4 weeks. The cells lining your stomach last about 5 days before they're dissolved by your own acid and replaced. Your red blood cells live for about 4 months, then they're retired and broken down in your spleen. Even your skeleton, which feels so permanent, is not the same one you were born with. Your body is constantly breaking down old bone and building new bone in a process called remodeling. After about 10 years, you have an entirely new skeleton. Sounds like an exaggeration, right? It's not. In 2005, a neuroscientist at the Karolinska Institute named Jonas Friesen figured out a way to prove it. During the Cold War, above-ground nuclear testing released a spike of a specific radioactive isotope, carbon-14, into the atmosphere. This carbon-14 was absorbed by plants, eaten by animals and people, and incorporated into the DNA of our cells. When the testing stopped in 1963, atmospheric carbon-14 levels began to drop at a predictable rate. Friesen realized he could use this. By measuring the amount of carbon-14 in a person's cells, he could calculate the exact year that cell was born. It's a biological birth certificate written into your DNA. And what he found confirmed the constant turnover. Your fat cells are replaced every 8 years. Your muscle cells about every 15. You are physically not the same object you were a decade ago. It's a biological ledger. And it tells us one thing very clearly. You are not built to last. But maybe the body is just a vessel. The real you, the pilot, is your mind. Your memories, your consciousness. That's the part that lasts, right? Well, not quite. Your memory isn't a video camera. It's not a hard drive that stores perfect copies of the past. Your memory is a storyteller. Every time you recall an event, your brain doesn't just play back a recording. It reconstructs the memory from scratch using fragments of information. And every time it reconstructs that story, it changes it a little. It fills in gaps. It smooths over rough edges. It edits the past to better fit the person you are today. In the 1970s, a cognitive psychologist named Elizabeth Loftus ran a series of experiments. She was at the New School for Social Research, 1970 to 1973, and the University of Washington, 1973 to 2001, during this period. She showed participants footage of car accidents and then asked them questions. When she asked how fast the cars were going when they smashed into each other, people gave a much higher estimate than when she used the word hit. A week later, she asked if they saw any broken glass. There wasn't any. But the people who heard the word smashed were more than twice as likely to say they saw it. The memory had been rewritten by a single word. Loftus didn't just suggest memories were flawed. She proved she could implant entirely new ones. In her famous Lost in the Mall study, she managed to convince a quarter of her adult subjects that they had been lost in a shopping mall as a child, an event that never happened. They didn't just agree it happened. They started generating their own details, what the old man who found them looked like, how they were crying, how their mother scolded them. Their brains created an entire fictional experience and filed it under truth. Think about that for a second. The story of your life, the very foundation of your identity, is a constantly edited document. The person you were 10 years ago is remembered through the lens of who you are now. Your triumphs get a little grander. Your heartbreaks get a little more poetic. Your mistakes are framed as lessons you needed to learn. And honestly, it's a good story. It has to be. It's the story that keeps you sane. But it's not the truth. The past you're holding on to isn't the real past. It's just the version that survived. So the body is gone. The memories are fiction. The operating system of your personality has been completely updated. By any reasonable definition, the person you were 10 years ago is gone. But here's where it gets complicated. Because there is one thing that connects you, a single, unbroken thread. While most of your cells are replaced, some of them are with you for life. Specifically, the neurons in your cerebral cortex, the part of your brain responsible for consciousness, thought, and personality. Jonas Friesen, the same scientist who dated your fat cells, confirmed this. The carbon-14 in your cortical neurons matches the level in the atmosphere from the year you were born. They are as old as you are. They were there in that 10-year-old photo, and they are here now reading these words. So while the house has been renovated, the foundation is the same. And it's not just the cells themselves, it's the pattern of their connections. Your experiences, your relationships, your traumas, they didn't just happen and then vanish. They left marks. They physically rewired your brain, strengthening some connections, weakening others. The person you are today is a direct causal consequence of the person you were 10 years ago. You didn't just appear out of thin air. You grew out of that past self. So, you're not a stranger inhabiting an old body. You're the same person, just updated. Version 2.0. That continuity is what makes you, you. So, that settles it right. You're still you. Well, not quite. Because even after all that, there's a different kind of death we haven't talked about. It's not about cells or memories. It's about worldview. Think about the last time your life truly fell apart. A bad breakup, the loss of a loved one, a career failure, a major illness. These moments don't just change you. They end you. The person who walked into that experience is not the same person who walked out. Your priorities are reordered. Your assumptions about the world are shattered. The things that used to matter seem trivial, and the things you never thought about suddenly become everything. This isn't just gradual change. It's a fracture. It's a psychological death. The old you, the one who believed the world worked a certain way, is gone. A new you had to be born from the wreckage. We go through these deaths and rebirths our entire lives. Falling in love for the first time kills the person who thought they could be happy alone. Having a child kills the person who was the center of their own universe. Confronting your own mortality kills the person who thought they had forever. These aren't updates. They are revolutions. The continuity of your neurons doesn't matter much when the entire paradigm they operate within has been overthrown. The thread is still there, but it's been rewoven into a completely different tapestry. Look at that photo again. That person is not a rough draft of you. They are a different chapter in a book you're still writing. You carry their history. You are built on their ruins. But you're not them. You couldn't be. To get from there to here, that person had to die. Over and over again. And maybe that's the whole point. We think of identity as a solid thing, a statue we carve and then preserve for the rest of our lives. But that's not what it is at all. It's a fire. It has to consume the old fuel to keep burning. The tragedy isn't that the person you were 10 years ago is dead. The real tragedy would be if they weren't. Because to be alive is to change, and to change is to let go of the people we used to be. You are a living funeral for 100 former selves. And the person you are today, the one you think is final, is just the next one in line.